Hey there, it's Jennifer Pickett, dietitian and Emerald Ambassador. And I keep getting a lot of questions about clinical studies. And I know there's a lot of buzz about clinical studies, and you're getting asked questions. So I thought I would throw together a really quick video to help explain clinical studies and what clinical studies Plexus has and what supporting studies are available, what resources you can use. So I hope you find this helpful. So let me give you a little bit of background on me because this might explain some stuff. You know, I have made the joke. I'm a dietitian. I also have a master's degree in human nutrition. So my big joke is, oh my word, like what a useless master's degree, right? Like I think I would have been much better served with like an MBA if I was going to get a master's. But it's so fascinating. I had no idea that this master's would kind of come in handy doing my dream job, which is Plexus. And two classes in particular that I want to point out to you that I took in my master's degree program. One class was just on herbal supplements. And that's it. It was like the whole semester course was on herbal supplements. And I remember sitting there thinking, and I was so young, sitting there thinking, man, why aren't we using this more? Why isn't this utilized a lot more? And also, like, why isn't there a happier marriage in between like conventional medicine and supplementation? And that's when I had no experience, y'all, right? I hadn't even started working. And that was me as green as can be, sitting in graduate school, wondering that, you know, why is, if this has so much potential to help people, why aren't we utilizing this as a country? Because other countries utilize herbal supplements much better than we do. And there's just a big disconnect in pharmaceuticals and supplements. And then also the other class that I took was a class, and again, the whole semester course just looked at how to read and how to analyze research and clinical studies. So both of those is kind of fascinating. Like I keep kind of going back to what I learned in those classes. So it's just kind of fascinating to me that I'm kind of getting to use that in this, you know, useless master's degree that I have. So I wanted to share with you real quick. After my master's degree, I worked as a dietitian. When I moved to Texas, my intention was to continue being a dietitian in oncology because that's what I loved. I loved oncology. And I was moving to big city Dallas from Jackson, Mississippi. And I was kind of shocked and dismayed that there were no oncology dietitian jobs when I moved to Dallas. And that was shocking to me. I mean, it's such a big need, but God opened some doors and I ended up going into pharmaceuticals with Bristol Myers Squibb in oncology. So I got to stay in an area that I loved, which is oncology. I'm very passionate about oncology. But also it was fascinating because this job, I was discussing research every single day with doctors because they would make a decision for their cancer patients based on the current available research, not based on what a drug rep was saying. Okay. So it was pharmaceutical sales, but it was simply like discussion of research. I found that very fascinating. So I do have a deep love of research and clinical studies, and it's how progress is made. So I will definitely tell you that. So you've got this great big world of research, and all of you are getting questions, and sometimes you get these personalities and they're saying, hey, like I need to see the clinical studies. And so I want to explain that. And because it's kind of like, so it allowed me to spider web here just a little bit when it comes to this world of research. So it's what it starts with is you have to understand the difference in pharmaceuticals and supplements. Okay, so pharmaceuticals must go through the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, to be approved. And then they're approved with a very strict like guideline for a very particular diagnosis. Research shows, analysis shows that by the time a drug company comes to the FDA for a drug to be considered for approval, that company has spent anywhere from $475 million to about $700 million. Okay, that's the ballpark range. $400 to $700 million is spent in research by the time a company comes to the FDA to be considered for approval. At that time, it has a 1 in 5 chance of being approved. So this is big business, okay? And it is necessary. That research has to be done, okay? That's how the FDA is set up. Now, our supplement industry is completely separate from pharmaceuticals. Thank you, Jesus, because what this means is that we have options of purchasing supplements without having to go through all of this. Okay, people have access to these supplements, these life-changing, amazing plant-based supplements. So the supplement industry is completely different. We don't have to go through FDA approval. However, FDA has a great deal of oversight, as I'm sure you are well aware. So the FDA has a great deal of oversight on the supplement industry, for everything from labeling guidelines to what we can say. For instance, we can't make disease claims. So they have a great deal of oversight. Let me assure you, they are watching, and they're putting even more stringent guidelines in place, which that's fine. That's good. But there is a big difference when it comes to research. So that's how big pharma works. And that's why they have to have all of these clinical studies, peer-reviewed studies, all of this research, because that's what's needed for it to be approved. Supplement companies do not have to have that because we don't go through the same approval process. So when we say that Plexus does have some clinical studies, they do have a few, I think 2 or 3 studies, and they did that on their own. They didn't do that because it was required. They did that on their own, and they made sure it was solid scientifically, okay? So you've got an outside research company providing this research. Remember that triplex study? I'm talking about the triplex study. You're looking at a randomized, double-blind, placebo-controlled trial. So what that means is that it is reliable and it's valid. So I won't get into all those details because that's a little bit much, but Plexus does not have to do studies. We are not required to do studies because we're a supplement. So that's a good thing. So any study that we've done, any study that we have yet to do, or that's ongoing, it's because we feel like, hey, we feel like this is needed. That being said, I have gotten to, I speak a good bit with Cindy Latham. I think she is a rock star and she's brilliant, but like she's the most down-to-earth woman. Like she's a genius and has like completely transformed how we do things. So under Cindy Latham, she's our chief marketing officer. You have got research and development and you've got marketing. And what I love, what makes me giddy about Plexus is that there's been this beautiful marriage of all of the great science that's coming from research and development, and it's been married with good marketing. And that's what is so powerful. And that is the direction that we're going. And that is actually kind of hard to do because you're taking some kind of complicated scientific concepts and you're having to really relay to somebody why they need that, why that's important, and then why they need our product. And I think our marketing team has done a phenomenal job of marrying those 2 areas, science and marketing. And that is not an easy job. So take advantage of what they've made available to us. So I have gotten to talk with Cindy. I've gotten to meet with the scientists, and y'all, I was beside myself. I was trying not to act like a little giddy schoolgirl. I think I did okay, but it was, I was giddy meeting with the scientists. And I kept like rushing up to them and asking more questions when they were at convention. Again, that was pretty cool. For those who are not at convention, the scientists were there. Any one of us got to just go up and meet them and ask them questions. What does that tell you? That tells you that they have nothing to hide, that that's full disclosure, and that we are proud of our scientific team. So the first thing I want to kind of reiterate with you is the amazing scientific team that is in place. We call it research and development. It is led, it's under Cindy Latham's umbrella, but it's led by Dr. Yang. And I know we haven't seen him, but he's hard at work behind the scenes. He is absolutely brilliant. I've seen like his background and all the research he's published. So just the fact that he came to Plexus and is on our staff, is an executive, like that's big time. But then all the scientists, and y'all, they are adding to this scientific team. Okay, they're not like they're not cutting the team, they're adding to the team so that we have a very robust research and development team. So they're adding to the scientists, they're adding dietitians, they're adding doctors, and that's very, very impressive to me. And so as you talk to scientists, you get a little bit more background of what happens. So guys, I will tell you, when we get a new product, like here's a little 7-day of Slim right here. When we come out with a reformulated product or a new product, let me assure you, they are not just throwing this together and saying, hey, we'll see if this works. They're not doing that. No, a great deal of time and science and research goes into this. Part of that is researching individual ingredients. And so as people are talking about studies, when we talk about all the studies, part of that is when we look at, I will give you an example, grapeseed extract. Okay, grapeseed extract is in X Factor Plus. When we look at grapeseed extract, all of our scientists, what they did is they did a very comprehensive literature review, and they reviewed all of the available data, all of the available research on grapeseed extract, because that was being considered to put in X Factor Plus. And so as they dug into the research and they saw, wait a minute, grapeseed extract has tremendous support and potential to help women with menopausal symptoms. So what they did is the same clinical dose of grapeseed extract in the literature that was showing benefit for menopausal women, the same dose is in X Factor Plus. So we don't have a whole lot of clinical studies on our own, but we've got this extensive like literature review, all of these studies on individual ingredients. Does that make sense? So I wanted to kind of explain that, because when it comes to studies that Plexus worldwide has participated in, like our studies, we only have like, I think it's like 2 or 3. You've got the triplex study, and you also have the in vitro human gut simulator study. And then the other thing that we have is you've got all of this supporting data, all of this research that looks at the individual ingredients, or just supporting science to support that particular product. And that's very, very important. So I want to point out to you resources, because you're getting questions and you're like, I don't know. I mean, people are asking about studies. I don't know what to say. So let me show you some supporting resources that you can utilize. Number one, the first one is in your back office. Utilize those shareables. Y'all, I mean, it doesn't make sense for Cindy Latham and her team to work hard and have this gorgeous marriage of science and marketing if we don't utilize it. Like, oh my word. Like, for most of us who've been around for a while, we have not had these tools, and they're amazing tools. Utilize them, okay? They're right there in your back office under shareables. If you click on the product information sheet, again, I'm going to use X Factor Plus as an example. It is a very wonderful, detailed guide, and it goes over it goes over each and every individual ingredient. So it goes over vitamins, minerals, why that is in there, why it's important. It also goes over frequently asked questions. Y'all, you're going to get asked these questions. So like, you want to have the answer. There's your answers right there. At the end of that sheet, and it's a several page document, at the end of that, it has scientific references. So this is all the supporting data to support individual ingredients in X Factor Plus, okay? So you've got a ton of scientific studies. The reference is listed there. So if somebody's asking about scientific studies, y'all send them that document, point that out. If they want the study, they can go look up the study. And let me say as a side note, most of these folks who are asking about clinical studies, y'all, they don't sit around reading clinical studies. Most people don't sit around reading clinical studies. It is very difficult to read. I've read them. I still like to read them sometimes, but let me tell you, even with a little bit of training, like it is still like Greek. Okay, it's some confusing stuff to read. So most people are not sitting around reading scientific studies. Like, give me a break. But people want that validation. Okay, so so just like give them the references. They can look it up themselves if they are that interested. The other thing I want you to be utilizing, and I don't have the brand new catalogs yet, but we again beautiful, utilize what we have. If you will notice on our product pages, at the very bottom of the page, can you see that? Underneath that line, you see those little words right there? Those are scientific references. So point that out to people, okay? So let me give you an example. This is BioCleanse. And like this reference says, comparison of the effects of magnesium hydroxide and a bulk laxative on lipids, carbohydrates, vitamins A and E, and minerals in geriatric hospital patients in the treatment of constipation. And that was from the Journal of Internal Medicine in 1989. So that's a scientific reference, okay? It's listing the medical journal, what year, what the title of the research is. On ProBio 5, right there, see there's one listed right there. It is from the Journal of Translational Medicine. I think that is experimental support for the effects of a probiotic digestive enzyme supplement on serum cholesterol concentrations and the intestinal microbiome. So again, most people don't care, but if they really do, I just want you to point that out to folks, okay? I mean, when you're showing the catalog, just point that out. If they want to see the clinical study that bad, they can look it up. It's okay. The page, the microbiome page, look at all, see there's some scientific studies right there. Because remember, Vital Biome has, there's 8 different documented strains represented by like, what is it, 279 scientific studies, something crazy, amazing like that. And so again, this is listing some of the scientific studies. Like this study is beneficial physiological effects of a probiotic formulation, Lactobacillus helveticus, Bifidobacteria longum, in healthy human volunteers. And that was found in the Journal of Gut Microbes in 2011. So this is listing scientific references. What I do when I'm showing somebody the catalog, again, most people don't care about the science. Most people are wondering, will it work for me? And what makes it unique and different. But what I do, even for someone who like doesn't care about the science, I'll just kind of point that out. Hey, those are scientific references down there. And even for somebody that is like totally not agreeing, not a sciencey personality, they're like, oh, and that provides that third party validation. So utilize the tools that we have when people are asking about scientific studies. Don't jump through hoops. We don't have to jump through hoops. And if they're wanting to know which peer-reviewed studies Plexus has done, well, it doesn't work that way, okay? Because we're a supplement company. We're not a drug company. So sometimes people just have a severe lack of understanding of how the world of research works. And that's okay. And the other thing I just want to emphasize to you before I shut this down is the fact that y'all, I think we underestimate. We are truly, truly pioneers. We have the best of the best. Our products are truly unique and different. We are entering into a whole new world, okay? I can hear Aladdin singing, a brand new world or a whole new world in the background. Sorry, Disney is still on my mind. We're entering a whole new world, okay? As we delve into gut health and microbiome, a lot of this evidence is brand new, okay? So we are pioneers. And I want you to remember that. We are literally pioneers. So a lot of this stuff we are figuring out as we go. Now they are taking a great deal of time and they're looking at scientific evidence, but here's what I want to remind you. We're pioneers, so there might be some rough spots, okay? But also you got to trust. You have got to trust. I trust this company. And let me tell you, I trusted this company before I sat down in front of the scientist. But they are taking every single effort to make sure that these products are scientifically sound, that these products are truly set apart and unique and different. And you just need to trust, because at the end of the day, y'all, we're not scientists, okay? I'm a mama. I just want to feel good. And at the end of the day, most people just don't care about the science. So know that it's there. Know that it's solid. Know that Cindy Latham is rocking it out when it comes to our research and development. We're going to continue to see some tweaks and changes to our products because they're making sure that everything is rock solid, that everything is so set apart from everything else out there. Y'all, we're at the forefront. We're not following anybody else's example. We're at the forefront. We're at the cutting edge of a breakthrough. We are pioneers. So let's get that mindset going. We're pioneers. There's going to be some rough patches, but we're pioneers. We've got to trust in who Plexus has in place. So I hope this has helped. Thanks for listening, and I hope you guys have a great day.